those wishing for a fall-like day have finally got it. Plenty of sun being seen on our Queensgate cam, and the Paycor Stadium is also looking pretty good this afternoon. You'll notice a little bit of a breeze stepping out the door, but not as much of a breeze as there is sun. Good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Erin Ashley. We are tracking quite the turn into your weekend forecast, though, with some strong storms not out of the question for late Saturday evening and throughout the day on Sunday. So it's going to be pretty eventful for the weekend. If you have any outdoor plans, and keep checking back on this forecast, I encourage you to keep doing so. We'll unpack that timing coming up in just a few minutes. We got some beautiful temps outside, lunchtime temps for you, mid to low 60s. It's great for the long sleeves. If you've been itching to get out the fall wardrobe, today's a great day for it. Not necessarily sweater weather, just in the heat of the day, but the evening you could definitely make the argument. Here's where those temperatures are right now. 63 here in Cincinnati. We still have a 50 in here, 59 in Wilmington at this point in time. Now, as we get into the rest of your weekend forecast, of course, these temperatures are going to go all over the place, a roller coaster, as we dive there into your weekend. But nevertheless, nice and comfortable for the Bengals game tonight. We can't rule out just a little bit of some weekend showers and thunderstorms, and once we get there, we'll start to be pretty warm too. That'll be for your Saturday, and not really your Sunday. Sunday itself is going to be more about the rain. It's going to be more about the storms, the breeze. You guys know the situation. Whereas today, it's perfect. Let's talk about the Bengals forecast before we get into that weekend forecast. So it's a whiteout tonight. The rare white tigers making their presence known, the white Bengal tigers. Thursday forecast, 8:15 kickoff tonight against the Steelers. Tailgating with the sun up, middle 60s. Kickoff with the sun down, middle 50s. These temperatures could be dropping pretty quickly once that sun sets, just with how dry it is. And so expect much cooler temperatures throughout the game. You'll need a layer. If you're debating it, bring it. You won't regret it. With temperatures by midnight, or by the end of the game, getting close to midnight, upper 40s for that forecast, which means we're stepping out the door tomorrow morning. Pretty chilly. Some of us diving into the 40s, most of us diving into the 40s, getting close to the 30s with clear skies. And throughout your morning, because we don't really see much in the way of any rain or thicker clouds till the afternoon and evening, we're able to warm up pretty decently into the middle 50s by 10. And the heat of the day, we'll notice temperatures pretty seasonal still, around 70 degrees, but increasing clouds. You'll notice more clouds by the end of the day Friday than you will by the morning. So this keeps temperatures from getting too warm too quickly, but you'll see on Saturday we're still able to see near 80-degree high temperatures. So it's middle 60s today, Thursday, 70 Friday, near 80 on Saturday. So within 2 days we're making a 15-degree jump in spots, and you'll see it. Let's talk about that Friday night football forecast before we talk about the weekend, because while the weekend itself is going to be quite warm, active, however you want to describe it, it will impact your plans in one way, shape, or form. Friday night football still looks great. Temperatures for our game of the weekend for all of the area high school football games. Kickoff in the middle 60s. Those clouds really thickening still as we see the end of the game in the upper 50s. So no big temperature drops as we see your evening and your late evening approach. The difference with today and tomorrow evenings is that today we don't have the clouds to serve as like a blanket. The clouds will kind of just trap the heat in at the surface. So we're not noticing too chilly of temperatures for Saturday morning and even Sunday morning, but that's really just going to be because of the rain. But our game of the week is South Dearborn at Lawrenceburg, and temperatures quite comfortable. Not seeing too big of an impact there. Now, let's talk about the weekend forecast. Again, strong storms are going to be possible. This is the day 3 severe weather outlook put out by the Storm Prediction Center, and you'll see that part of the tri-state is under a marginal risk. However, the bullseye, the greatest chance to see some showers or stronger, severe showers and thunderstorms, well, that's still states away. It's just that this line of showers and thunderstorms that we're seeing on our weather timeline is really gonna be rolling in, and it has a lot of steam. It's gonna be cooking. You'll see it here on your weather timeline, wasting no time. So a spotty shower is possible east of Cincinnati throughout the morning on Saturday. We'll warm up into the afternoon. Plenty of sun. If you're wanting to head out to the pumpkin patches, it will just be pretty warm. It'll be breezy too, so any fall pictures that you might want to take, the hairstyles, oof, I don't know, maybe do like a half up, half down sort of deal, because the wind will play a factor for sure. Clouds will start to really thicken closer to sunset. Notice that line of showers and thunderstorms. Here's 6, here's 8. It still looks pretty strong from what I'm seeing here around 8 o'clock, but the timing is really good for us here, because if we're gonna get the storms, if we're gonna get the heavy rain, we want to get it when the sun is down, because that'll keep our storm fuel relatively low, at least compared to those south and west of us. So watch the magic. It's not magic, it's science, but watch what happens when we see the darkness hours really get going. So here's 8, the sun has just set, or it sets like an hour prior, but you get the point. It's pretty early in the evening. It looks pretty strong west of Cincinnati. Here's 10. Notice it's weakening. Here's midnight. It weakens to the point where those out towards Wilmington, Hillsborough, and Georgetown with this first line of showers and storms may not see a whole lot, just some rain, some breezes with this, but it's a different story for those in southeastern Indiana, in which strong winds are going to be the main concern. We can't rule out a few severe thunderstorm warnings because of that, but it's an isolated risk at best. And most of the impactful weather is really going to be on Sunday because, I mean, before you know it, a big swath of showers and thunderstorms going to be carrying on into the tri-state. And this will happen for everybody. Maybe some stronger wind gusts embedded within these thunderstorms, but even that risk is pretty low because we see these showers arriving so early in the day. So we have a lot to unpack in regards to the impactful weather. Let's start with a pretty broad scope here. So we know it's going to be active, where there's going to be showers, there's going to be storms. The winds, though, the wind gusts, they're going to be pretty heavy too. So this time of year, it's normal to see a setup like this, but it could be strong enough to prompt a few severe thunderstorm warnings with that one round I just showed you on your weather timeline. But even throughout the day on Sunday, we're still going to hold on to the potential for 35 to 40, maybe even 45 mile per hour wind gusts here in Cincinnati. And so if you don't take in those Halloween inflatables, if your neighbor doesn't do it, it will end up like 6 houses down because of these winds. So take your decorations down, do yourself and your neighbors a favor and do that just in case, right? And then of course you've got the hidden hazards of fall. Wet leaves are very slippery. There's not a lot of traction for the cars, for the bikes, for your feet. You can imagine how slippery it'll be if you are running on wet leaves. It's pretty slippery. Same thing with muddy grass and muddy trails. It's quite slippery too. So that's something that we're going to be tracking there for your Sunday, even after the rain stops, which we're seeing a little bit more of a drier patch, if you will, as we head into your evening and get a little bit farther away from that frontal passage. This does mean that Monday is going to wake up pretty chilly, but at least we see a lot of sun here. So that's the good news. Let's talk about the details, the finer details a little bit more, which as we get closer, we're getting a better idea of when the strongest winds are going to be, when the heaviest rain is going to be moving on through, and when the potential for something severe could be pushing on through too, which I just showed you that potential. It's late Saturday evening for those west of Cincinnati. Here's the wind gusts. You're going to notice the winds as soon as Saturday. Like I mentioned, if you are wanting to get the fall photos done this weekend, I mean, Saturday is your day because Sunday is not the day to do it. It'll be raining and storming and breezy, whereas Saturday it's going to be warm. The breeze is going to be noticeable, so not ideal, but you could get them done. Temperatures, as a result, going to be warming up into the upper 70s, near 80 on Saturday. Here is Sunday morning, 4 in the morning to be exact. We've got wind gusts at this time anywhere from about 25 to 35 miles per hour. So you might wake up to a little bit of shaking out there. If you have an older tree, and I mean, it's a storm like this could really change that and make things crash on down. So just make sure, hopefully you've taken care of it by now and well ahead of the fall season. But this is the time of year where we typically see something, see more of those storm reports of branches being downed and maybe power lines being down as a result. Just can't rule that out too. And then your Sunday rolls on in, and as that cold front actually kicks on through, the cold front's the reason why we're talking about the showers and storms in the first place, but it's also the culprit for these wind gusts that you see right here, which up to about 40 miles per hour is what this model's saying, but other models are saying 45, isolated 50 mile per hour wind gust. And that's why it's like, tie down the Halloween decorations or just bring them inside just for Sunday, because by Monday things are already looking much better. So those are your wind gusts. How much rain are we tracking? So it's a good rainmaker. I'll show you the drought monitor here in a second. We do need the rain for those who are still technically under a drought category, but hey, those north and west of Cincinnati could see rainfall totals anywhere from about 1.5 to 2 inches. Those south and east of Cincinnati, anywhere from about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. I don't want you to get too married to the exact totals, but rather where we see the potential for the higher rainfall amounts, which are going to be north and west of Cincinnati, where we have that stronger line of thunderstorms moving through Saturday evening, and then those south and east of Cincinnati can expect to see the lower totals, at least compared to everyone here in the tri-state. Here in Cincinnati, right in the middle of it all, probably anywhere around that inch, which it's welcome because of this, the drought monitor, in which, hey, we've seen big improvements on this. I don't want to give off the impression that we desperately need the rain. We need it because we still are abnormally dry here in Cincinnati and everywhere you see there in the yellow. But this time last week, we were still under moderate, no severe drought last week, but we were still under moderate drought this time last week. Whereas the wonders of rain, right? It took us out of real drought categories. Abnormally dry is still a category. It's just not considered drought. Who really cares, right? I care, but we're looking better, big improvements here in the drought monitor, and we expect next week's update to be even better because of the rain that we're tracking here for your Sunday, which, to give you an idea of what next week's going to look like because of these showers, because of these thunderstorms, because of these wind gusts, I mean, all of that is not for nothing. It pulls in more October-like temperatures. I mean, today's pretty October-like, right? It's consistent October days that we've seen all of next week. Now, Saturday, that's the outlier, that's the exception. It's going to be warm. It's going to be a little humid ahead of those showers and storms, and it's going to be breezy. But that is your pick day of the weekend to get anything outside that you might need to get done. And we're not seeing any big temperature drops or big temperature rises in that 10-day forecast. So those of us who've been wishing for October, there you go. We'll see if I have any questions coming on in. And we have plenty of questions. This is great news. All right, Melvin's tuning in. What is the weather for Halloween? Halloween is still over 2 weeks away. However, we can give you an idea of what the next 2 weeks are going to look like, kind of leading in to Halloween. But I mean, it's still, here's the October 30th, or the 24th through the 30th, it still looks on average maybe a little bit above normal for this time of year, but you got to remember normal for this time of year is in the 60s. So this could mean the upper 60s, or it could mean by October 31st we see a big cold front and this map doesn't even matter. So keep checking back with us, Melvin. The weather for Halloween is still quite literally up in the air. JD's tuning in. How are you doing today? What's the weather for Canton tomorrow morning? I don't know what the weather for tomorrow morning in Canton is going to be. I'm a forecaster for Cincinnati, but I'm assuming probably going to be a little cool, just like us here in Cincinnati. And I'm doing great. Thanks, JD. Jen is tuning in. Hello to my sweater weather friend. Today feels so good. I hope the storms don't get too bad this weekend. Hello, Jen. Sweater weather is upon us today, and then it'll really be upon us next week. I am so excited. I hope you're excited too. The storms this weekend, I hope they don't get too bad either, and the timing really is on our favor, Jen, because while they are going to be pulling into our southeastern Indiana counties, I mean, you saw a second ago on the weather timeline, this line of initial showers and thunderstorms, it weakens very quickly for what I'm seeing right now. We'll let you know if that changes if these storms do get on the stronger, maybe the severe side, you guys will be the first to know. Download that Fox 19 First Alert weather app. It'll quite literally let you know if there's anything issued for your exact location, even if you are states away. It's pretty handy. Thanks for tuning in, Jen. I appreciate it. And Carla's tuning in. We are having a birthday party on Sunday, but I think we will have to change. It's going to be 2:30 to 4:30. Yeah, so let me go ahead and show you one of our other models that I like to show, just so we can give you an idea of what the afternoon's going to look like, because I kind of showed you just the morning for Sunday. Okay, here is about 2 o'clock. So I will say, Carla, birthday parties in the for Sunday, if you need to have them, the afternoon's the best time to do it. We're still going to be tracking some showers and storms throughout our eastern counties. So depending on where you are in the viewing area, Carla, you might be seeing a little bit lighter showers. You could still see a couple of those heavier showers and storms. That'll mainly be east of Cincinnati, but regardless, if it's outside, it's going to be wet, it's going to be breezy. And if you can, either bring it inside or maybe just delay it just a little bit. The evening, I mean, you'll see here, it's still going to be breezy because that cold front's going to be right overhead. So yeah, I mean, depending on your location, where you are, and if the birthday party's outside, it's not the best weather for it, Carla. I'm sorry about it. Maybe you could bump it to Saturday. Saturday looks good too. And then next weekend, you'll get to see that forecast or for the early part of next weekend here in my 7-day, Carla, so maybe next weekend looks better. And from what I'm seeing now, it really does. So let's get right into that 7-day forecast. Good segue, good segue. Because once we get through this active weekend, or at least relatively active weekend, we do start to settle into a pretty nice fall pattern. Outside of a couple of rain chances, we're watching that for Tuesday of next week and for Thursday of next week. But Carla, from what I'm seeing right now, granted it's still well over a week away, Saturday of next week is looking good, just a little cooler in the low 60s. So birthday parties looking good for Saturday next weekend, as I'm not seeing any strong signals of heavy rain. Of course, we'll let you guys know if that changes here at Fox 19, but let's walk you through the rest of your First Alert extended forecast, because we talk so much about the weekend. Today and tomorrow, pretty good. Even your Saturday, you could argue, is pretty good too. It's just all relative, right? 67, today's forecast high, plenty of sun. This will translate into a cooler evening, temperatures dropping into the 50s throughout the Bengals game tonight. So if you're heading out to Paycor Stadium, a layer, maybe two. Friday morning, waking up in the 40s. Don't be the person that steps outside in a t-shirt and shorts. Hopefully you won't be that person, because it'll be chilly. We're waking up in the 40s, maybe the 30s, even all through next week too. Now, as we hit your weekend, of course, that's when things are going to be more about the chance for some showers, some thunderstorms, gusty conditions too. That's going to be late Saturday night into your Sunday. So Sunday, off and on showers and thunderstorms throughout the morning, the early afternoon. And then as things start to approach the late afternoon, that's when we start to notice those showers and storms tapering off a little bit. We'll still see some in the area. It'll still be wet and breezy too, but as that cold front clears the area, it'll kick out the rain chances, and we'll actually see some cooler, clearer conditions as soon as Monday morning as a result. Temperatures in the upper 40s that morning, low 60s in the afternoon, and we hang on to the 60s all throughout the rest of that 7-day forecast. All right, I'm not seeing any other questions this Thursday afternoon. I always have to think about that. They all blend together. But I appreciate you guys chiming in on the comments, asking us some good questions about not only what things are going to look like this weekend, but how to plan for it. And so we're going to be watching this for you guys, this First Alert weather day. And should anything get more concerning in our forecast, less concerning in our forecast, you guys will be the first to know. But for now, signing off here in Queensgate, I'm meteorologist Erin Ashley. Have a great rest of your Thursday.